U13 Jacks first game against Simon Fraser. And how is this HSU team looking? I know you guys' expectations have been picked to finish first in the GNAC, a young team, but how are you guys looking going into the...
We're an incredibly young team, and I was very surprised with the preseason favorites role from the other league coaches. When I look at it, we have 4 starters returning on the offensive side, really 3 that started in legitimate roles on the defensive side. So it is as young a football team as I've had in my time here, I think. Maybe 2009 was similar to that, but it's not without its talent. We certainly, on the offensive side, with Nick Riccadouli, the returning offensive player of the year in the conference, have a tremendous weapon there with Marquise Deadweiler back at receiver, and then David Culp and Dylan Reagan on the offensive line. We've got some nice pieces that we can build around, but we're surrounding them with a lot of players that are going to be playing for the first time in starting roles. A number of sophomores in that situation, or maybe a transfer or two, and then Kyle Morris at quarterback. Although Kyle has been with us for the past couple of years, this will be his first start at quarterback. So young on the offensive side. John Rowe starts at tackle. He's just a sophomore. Jared Adams starts at the other tackle. He's just a sophomore and just moved over to offense from defense at the start of camp. And then Jonathan Badgett, another sophomore there at the guard position. And Badgett's had a tremendous fall camp for us, and really has shown he's an all-league player in the making. He really is. On the defensive side, again, young, a lot of new faces. We do have both corners back, and Kevin Cooper and Marcus Graves and Alex Markarian at a defensive end. But other than that, J.J. Evans has played a lot of football for us, but has just been a part-time starter just last year. So a lot of new players. Gianni Olivas at safety, with Jerry Malawia being out. Gianni is a returning starter from another school, Gardner Webb. We've got Cody Heidebrecht stepping into a starting role at the other end spot. So a mix of transfers, a mix of new players, but many of whom are going to be getting extended minutes for Humboldt State for the first time. So that's where a lot of the uncertainty comes from, myself included, as to what type of team we're going to be able to roll out there. There is talent, but I have not seen so many of them in a game situation yet that it's going to be interesting to see how well they play.
With so many new players, do you expect growing pains at the beginning of the season?
I think there will be growing pains. We are a work in progress, and I'll use that phrase, probably overuse that phrase, in fact, as the season goes on, because, like I said, we do have a lot of players that we've yet to see in those situations. So, we'll be a team, I believe, that should get better each week as these players gain that valuable experience. But until they do, we're not sure exactly where we're going to be. And then there are some areas where we lack some depth. So primarily up front on both sides of the ball. But again, we'll be able to go out there and our kids will play hard. This group has done everything we've asked them to do. And like I said, it's not lacking talent. Players that we have Silas Sarvinsky back inside on the defensive line. He'll line up alongside of Tommy Stewart, a transfer a year ago from New Mexico State. At the linebacker position, we do have J.J. Evans, who's played for him out, but Cameron Buell is just a redshirt freshman that we think is developing into an outstanding player. Ryan Moreno is back, the outside linebacker. He only started one game a year ago and did so because of injury, but did play as a true freshman last year. So he has experience there. Taylor Mitchell at the other outside backer position is a sophomore, a 3-year player in our program. It's kind of his time, and that really can be said at so many spots. We've got Eric Powpow at safety, a transfer, JC transfer that's just been here for the past 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how the units mesh together and how the different position battles shake out.
You guys have no breathing room. I mean, this week, not only your opener, but this conference opener with the Simon Fraser. You got Portland State coming up, but right here, conference play is starting.
Yeah, again, and we know one thing about the GNAC conference is that any team on any given Saturday can beat any other team, and the parity in this league is at an all-time high. I think there's no dominant team out there. There's no patsy. There's no easy Saturday, so to speak. So we're going to have to be ready, and all we have to do to prepare ourselves for Simon Fraser is look back to the last time we matched up with them up in Burnaby, BC, where we were up 24-0 in the first half, and they came back with 27 unanswered points in the third quarter, and beat us in a game that ultimately cost us a shot at the conference championship. So they're talented. I think on the field Saturday you will see the two best offensive players in the conference in our own Nick Riccadulli and Simon Frazier's Durant at wide receiver. He is a very he's an NFL prospect, if you ask me, at that position, and certainly someone that we had our hands full with a year ago. So both offenses should be fun to watch with those two players leading the way.
Coach, do you expect Durant to draw double coverage or anything like that?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what our plan is,
There
but obviously we have to know where he aligns each and every time, and understanding that he's going to get his catches. Again, they throw the ball. We anticipate they'll throw the ball a lot, and certainly he's the guy that they'll focus on first. So he's going to draw our attention, absolutely. We're going to do all we can to make sure he stays in front of us, does not get behind us with that, and then once he does get his hands on the ball, we got to get our helmets and pads on him and get him to the ground. But he's such a talent that like Nick Riccadulli is going to get his yards, Durant's going to get his catches.
And I take it the pass rush is going to play a big role.
That's always a big role when you try to limit the effectiveness of a team's passing game. We've got to find a way to get to pressure on their quarterback from a four-man rush and not have to sit there and bring a lot of pressure through linebackers, which forces you now to get into man coverage and those type of matchup situations. So hopefully our defensive front, Alex Markarian and Cody Heidebrecht at the end, Tommy Stewart, Silas Sarvinsky inside, along with Dylan Huffman, can get pressure on their quarterback to limit his effectiveness.
Coach, how do you prepare for Simon Frazier? Here's a team some of the players, and in the past they've been able to run the ball. Durant obviously can catch the ball. However, they did lose a very good quarterback. And again, they've got a coaching carousel when it comes to coordinators.
They do, and that's the hard part when you open with a team like Simon Frazier. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new defensive coordinator. They just added a new quarterback coach, Steve Axman, who has coached throughout the Pac-12. He's been at Washington. He's been at a number of other schools, a very highly regarded quarterback coach. And so, again, you try to do your research on coordinators to find out exactly what it is they might do or might show come game day, and because of that, I think the focus really has kind of shifted back to let's just make sure we're doing what it is we need to do. Again, we know offensively and defensively there's only so much, and we have an idea what we think we will get, and then we need to adjust during the course of that game to the things that are different from what we may have expected.
Coach, I got a chance to talk to you last week, and you said you're hoping to maybe get 85, even 90 plays in a game. Will this offense resemble maybe a 2011 offense, a 2012, or is this something new?
Well, it's the same offense with some tweaks to it, but again, our tempo, our pace, the no huddle, hurry up offense is now in vogue, and we're certainly one of those teams, one of the many teams that's now executing in such a way. In 2011, we averaged 76 offensive plays a game. That was up from 65 offensive plays a game in 2010. 2011 was our first year as a no-huddle team. We dropped off to 72 offensive plays a game, and then we'd like to get it up to 80 plus. And we have made some changes to how we call our offense, both at the line of scrimmage and from the sideline, to help us with that pace. Again, I think when offenses are able to go at that high rate, high pace of play like we want to achieve, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense and limits what a defensive coach can call, limits the substitutions, and maybe even limits the amount of pressure that they bring because they're so busy just trying to line up to what it is you're doing. So let's hope that our pace of play is where it needs to be, and that through that pace of play we can apply the pressure that we hope to.
Kyle Morris hasn't started a football game since 2010. How concerned are you about rust?
Not at all. Not at all. Kyle is a very confident kid. He's got a little bit of swagger to him, which I think for the quarterback position is a very positive thing. The other players have great confidence in Kyle, and that shows daily in practice. Now, he hasn't played for a few years. Do I think he'll be nervous? Yes. I think the butterflies will be there. I think that's expected. but he's also a confident young man, and certainly we'll try to do some things to play to his strengths early on as he gets his feet on the ground in that game a little bit. But he's a very talented athlete that can be effective both with his arm and his feet, and we're going to try to utilize both.
2 more questions, guys, and I'll be done. Sorry. I want to thank Scott from Twitter getting in. Scott wants to know how the young freshmen have adapted to college football and college life.
You know, they're adapting. It's an ongoing process, certainly, but we're very, very pleased with our freshman class that we have, and some of them we're going to throw right into the fire. We have Chase Crevichet is a very talented receiver out of Centennial High School down in Corona, a perennial top high school program here in the state of California. They lost in a state championship game a year ago, but he has come in and competed. He was here in the summer on his own doing his thing and getting to know the quarterbacks and getting to know the system. And he's going to play a lot of football this year, and it's going to be someone that's really going to be fun to watch over the next few years. Xavier Nelson is a tight end out of Berkeley High School. We've been limited at tight end in camp. Jonathan Kirkman is recovering slowly from a broken ankle, suffered last February, and then a transfer, Trevor Rowe, has joined us, but was slow to get going with practices as the admissions and eligibility issue was worked out. But so Xavier Nelson is going to play for us. Alex Kappa is a big 6'6", 270-pound offensive tackle that you'd love to redshirt in most normal years, but this year isn't normal. We have a need, and he certainly has shown that he's capable of helping us this year, and so he's in the depth right now. So we've got some freshmen that are going to be some true freshmen that are going to be out there. We've got some redshirt freshmen that are ready to step in the roles, and like I said, a number of sophomores. So that's the young team that you'll see this year.
Coach, talk about the final question for me. Playing in the Redwood Bowl in that stadium and the home fans.
You know, it's as good as it gets in Division II for just the atmosphere that you have. And I've said it before, but I hear from every coach around the league that his players enjoy coming to the Redwood Bowl more than any other road trip, just because they know they're going to get a good crowd, there's going to be a great atmosphere, and that's not the case at some other places. So again, we benefit from the home field, the Redwood Bowl. I think we're 14-2 there over the last 16 games. So that in itself shows you that our players enjoy playing in front of the home crowd. They love the support. We get the chainsaws cranked up, and there's nothing better. And so we hope that people are excited. The sense I get is that they are, that our fans are excited, that it's football season once again, and they can come out and cheer on the Lumberjacks. This will be an exciting team to watch. Like I said, new players, but there is talent. There are playmakers on the offensive side and solid players on the defensive side. So we hope that it's a large crowd. We hope that there's a lot of noise, and we'll use that as support for us to move this thing forward.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.